What's clear that AI will be here, AI will stay because it's not just a hype. A lot of people would like to have this human touch. They're always challenged every day
Yes.
almost. Actually, we have been seeing more and more, tracking more and more user reviews, feedbacks. Usually, if you are a front runner, it's good. It's also really important to stay competitive. The key here is adaptability, how fast you are able to adapt. So it's overall it's one big challenge, right?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Venture Ahead, the only podcast at IU University that walks you through what it takes to be an entrepreneur. With each episode, we bring you the best advice from the people living it: CEOs, founders, and change makers shaping the future. Today, we have with us Mikayel Vardanyan. Thank you so much for being here. He's the founder of Picsart. And as always, I'm going to start with the question that we ask all of our guests. What's one habit that you cannot skip?
Yeah, thank you for invitation.
Of
What's I
course.
one habit never skipped? Probably waking up early in the mornings.
Wow,
Yeah, I do not like to stay in the bed a lot in the morning, so I try to keep it as a
that's
habit
nice.
because it's very useful and I like it.
At what time do you wake up?
It's usually I believe 7 a.m.
Oh, man, that's nice.
6 or 7 depending, but yeah, mostly 7.
Perfect. I was fearing you would say 5 a.m. I have a friend who does
No,
that.
not. I mean, when I was in US, staying in US for some month, I was like at 5, 6.
Yeah, it makes
But
more sense
in
there.
Europe, 7 is almost like 5 in US.
No, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. Let me start by the beginning of the story, asking you about Pixar. So, when you think back of those early days, what inspired you to create it?
Yes, we were actually we were always in this experimentation mood. We started back in 2005 with other co-founders, and we started to build different companies, experiment with different things. So it was, and we experimented a lot when these new social networks and Google Play Markets arrived and Apple Store arrived. So we're constantly experimenting with everything new and trying to understand how it can work, what can be useful, what people are looking for or potentially will look in future. So actually, after a lot of experiments and building many apps, hundreds of apps, we figured out that some of those are working really good, some of those are very short term in life, and others like Picsart was like going really well and getting organic traction. And that's where we decided, okay, that's probably what people need. And we saw that there was a necessity for these more accessible
Yeah.
design products, editing products at the time, and just started to double down on that.
Building on that, now that we're talking about Pixar, I want to ask you, what was the initial idea of Pixar? Because I've seen that it has pivoted a lot over time. So, what was the initial idea until it got to what it is today?
Initial idea actually was to build some utility editing tools. So there were many tools, and at some point of time there was even separate applications for each of the tools. So we can now see within the Picsart, which then eventually became a part of the single platform. So that's how we call it right now. That's why we call it creative platform, because we combined everything into the single place, and from that time we started to just add all the new things into the platform, do more integrations, do more additional tools. So basically having products, full products, which ideally could have been a separate applications, to embed them in a single platform.
That's super nice. And when you're building startup or scale up, there's oftentimes one point when the thing almost crashes down and then it's done. Did you ever have a moment like that with Pixar? And what did you do to overcome it and be what Pixar is today?
Yes, it's part of the journey, right? It's they're always challenged every day
Yes.
almost, so which can take you down, take you up. So that's why you need to kind of make sure that you understand that it's a normal part of building any business and any startup. So what helped, I believe, helped that we believe whatever we've been always doing, we believe that we can do that and everything is doable, and
Absolutely.
you just need to keep doing it. And also maybe speaking to each other, like someone at some point of time can be more pessimistic, and then others are more optimistic, which helps to overcome that period of time,
Yeah.
and vice versa. And also friends, other companies, founders. It was always helpful. But yeah, we will learn that it's part of the game. You either would like to go enjoy and bet and win big, or yeah, there are many other safe places you can be. Still, nothing is safe, right? Especially nowadays.
Yeah.
But still, you can have much safer places where you can at least just work
Yeah.
your ordinary working hours and go home, and that's it.
Fair point. I love that you call it a game. Like the only way to win a game is to keep playing. So I feel
Yeah.
like that's the key of entrepreneurship, like resilience. Because now Picsart has over 1 billion downloads. So what are the key strategies that got you up to that point?
Yeah, actually, it's almost 2 billion
Oh
right
wow.
now. So 1 billion we crossed a while ago. So the main strategy from the first days was like to keep introducing more and more new stuff to our users, basically. So not to keep them waiting, but just keep releasing new tools,
Yes.
new content, new things, new integrations, and that's what actually helped us to be competitive within these 14 years. So keep introducing new things, keep utilizing all the latest technologies in order to make creativity more accessible to broader groups, and make sure, like we say now, growing with our users, basically, because if you look back in 2011, it was first generation of Gen Zs.
Yeah.
They were like just 13 years old. Now 13, 14 years old. Now they already in their 26, 27s. So they grown, and we learned that at different points of their life they need different things to
Tools.
solve their problems. Initially, yes, it's more for entertainment, fun, right? But then you start your business, you're becoming part of the business. So we try to make sure that we are there along your journey, life journey, because at any point of time you need creativity, creative assets. So it just differs what kind of tool set and what you are trying to solve. So that's the only difference.
Absolutely, I completely agree. I think everyone I know at some point had Picsart downloaded, or even like we keep going back and forth, like download it all the time for everything that we need in terms of editing pictures and everything. I also want to ask you because back in the day when you started, there wasn't that many competition, or at least there's not as many apps for editing and everything that there is today. So how do you keep competitive in a market that it's so overloaded?
Yes, we were luckily enough. Usually, yeah, if you are a front runner, it's good, right? But then it's also really important to stay competitive, because you can be really successful initially when there is no competition, but then there can be a lot of big players, small players, which can be faster, in many cases better. But I believe being first and then not slowing down and keep scaling, that will help, and keep scaling the platform, keep scaling our brand, making sure that we always are utilizing the latest technologies, and we always are talking to our users, understanding their needs, predicting the future,
Yeah.
what we will need. I think that was helpful. And what's important, yeah, this distribution channel, how we call the number of people we have, the number of monthly active users. I think it was becoming and more important over the years, And that's why we tried to introduce both free tools and also premium tools in order to make sure that we have for every segment of users the right
Yeah.
product for them at that point of time.
Super nice. No, I really wanted to ask you this question because we have thousands of tools available to us, and the fact that Picsart keeps being super big today, I kept wondering like how do you do it with so much competition? So thank you for that. Let me talk a little bit more into your personal story. You know how people often think that entrepreneurs are someone in their 20s who just dropped out of college and created Apple. But you actually have a background in engineering. Do you feel like that builder mindset still shows up in how you lead today? And if it does, how?
Uh, I do believe that, yeah, it's not so important or critical to have studied somewhere or not studied, etc. But when you do something in university, I think it helps you to understand and refine
Yeah.
your thinking, basically, help you to understand who you are, help to understand what you are interested in. So that's the most important part of the university. All the rest, I believe, as soon as long as you have analytical and engineering mindset, in many cases, of course, there are some exceptions, but in most of the cases, I think if you refine and you have inherently this mindset and then you keep strengthening it over the time, then it can help you to understand better where are there opportunities, understand where you need to do something, where you shouldn't do something, to make you move faster, slower whenever needed. But I think that's more about thinking and how well you positioned. And university, from my perspective, helps first of all to refine that thinking if you are still unclear, but you have it already. Uh, or second big part of university is also networking. Of
Yes.
course, the good universities where you can potentially find someone and start something by discussing, brainstorming, and finding the right people in order to start your journey.
Absolutely. No, I think it's great, especially when universities try to make entrepreneurship accessible to anyone. I personally know a lot of founders and a lot of people who are willing to get into their teams, which I think it's like great. It's crazy. And I want to ask you also, since you have been being an entrepreneur for so many years, there's a lot of advice going on around. What's one piece of real world advice that you wish more early stage founder actually follow?
Oh, I think being positive. I think that's what I'm also famous for within the company, because
Being
doesn't matter
positive.
whatever happens. If something it's like it's end of the world, I still try to think and look at it positively, because yeah, if you panic or if you start crying, in any case, it won't help, right? In a good sense. So I think staying positive, because then you will always figure it out what you should do, why you should do, and because there is always opportunities. Doesn't matter where the market is not in a good conditions. If AI is everywhere, or etc., there are always opportunities, and it's just matter of quickly understanding and evaluating and moving forward, even considering that there are many challenges, and
Yeah,
challenge basically are everywhere, and
absolutely.
they're every day, and they will be always around.
The only thing that is constant is problems, challenges.
Yeah, and that's why it's also for us it's more interesting when they're challenged to
Yeah,
solve them than where everything is goes too smooth. So in that cases, we even ourselves creating some challenge.
absolutely. I mean, if you have a line, at the end of the day, it gets boring.
Yeah,
But I love that because I think that's a super entrepreneurship mindset. Most of entrepreneurs tend to think, okay, we have a problem, no worries. We just like find a way to solve it and move on. Otherwise, you don't get as far as many entrepreneurs do. And now let's dive a little bit deeper onto creativity because not everyone grows up being creative. Like for instance, I'm horrible at creativity. Like for me to have an idea, it takes a very, very long time. So how do you see Pixar helping people unlock that part of themselves?
Yeah, it's good question, and actually we have been seeing more and more and tracking more and more user reviews, feedbacks. That's what was helping us to shape it, also and build more products and more features. So we have seen it was working really well over the years. Again, based on what we have been hearing from the users, and just recently we have invited one of our longtime user to our all hands meeting, and he was describing his story how Picsart helped him to overcome some personal challenges, and how Picsart helped him to become more like art therapy for him. So that's why
That's
we see
wild.
that a lot of users are trying and figuring out themselves many use cases and many things that can be helpful on our platform. And there's a variety of use cases you will can come up with around creativity, and each of them is differs. Some is using for art therapy, and others using to spend some free time. Other user is more and more users are currently also utilizing our platform for their business needs, because
Yes.
that's also one of the area that you need a lot of creativity, and especially with very complex tools, it's really hard to get things done something quicker, and our platform provides that also. So yeah, now it's variety of tools, variety of use cases, and in many cases, users are figuring out and coming up with use cases we even didn't expect, but then hearing and then helping them and maybe adding some additional stuff they needed.
Super cool. I'm building on that, the whole topic of creativity. So nowadays with AI, I've been hearing all around that designers are dead, that you don't need, that nobody's gonna need any kind of these tools because you're just gonna be able to go to ChatGPT and ask him, hey, can you make me this design? And then he'll do it. How do you see the future of design with AI?
Uh, yeah, it's hard to understand what will happen in near future, but what's clear that yeah, AI will be here, yeah, AI will stay because it's not just a hype, but many companies and many people already applying it, and it's helpful and
Yeah.
it's helps with the efficiency a lot. In terms of creativity, it again for us it was additional kind of roadblock which helped us to unlock more creativity to the people which are not designers, who are not designers and who are not creative skills, who do not have creative skills. So that's why we utilize it and make sure that it helps them to start quickly and easily from something, be inspired with something, and to kick off. But still, we see that a lot of people would like to have this human touch
Yeah.
in between. So that's why I see that still AI is part of the whole process, but it's not covering the full process, at least for now. Yeah, maybe in 5 years or like in 3 years, it may be. But right now, still, you see that there are so many components in many use cases where AI plays one part of it, but it's one block of it, but it's not
The whole
covering
thing.
many other pieces which you need still to do yourself. And also, you feel more accomplished if there is some human touch. Then it's completely automatically generated something, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I say it still will be here. How it will reshape the design space and other functions, I think, yeah, it's already reshaped and reshaping, because in many cases, let's say marketing teams who were completely relying on creative teams now can do many things themselves. So that's one thing. But at the same time, I believe that designers, it should also help designers to do more stuff, for many customers at the same time, and also to do some much bigger things and much and focus on much bigger bets than they were doing before.
Absolutely. I think AI it's a great tool, but it's still a tool. It's not the whole thing. I work a lot with designers, and a lot of people ask me, like, oh, why do you find a designer? Why don't you ask ChatGPT? And I'm like, it's not the same. Like, AI doesn't understand all the principles about designing and doesn't know how to use like all the tools available. It just gives you an AI generated image, which is oftentimes not what you ask for.
Yeah, it's still super helpful and they also get more advanced. We have seen already it throughout these last
Yeah.
2 years. But in any case, you still need some people to review it, some people to fine tune it, etc. So that's why it's still not that it's just completely can replace
Yeah.
design work, or maybe it won't even in future.
We'll see how it develops.
Yeah.
I want to go now and talk about entrepreneurship. So I want to ask you, have you always have this kind of mindset, the entrepreneurial mindset, where you're just like always trying to do new things and solve problems? Or did you just find this one problem and then you went like, okay, I'm going to solve it? How did you become an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I think it happens mostly organically. So that's why I do not believe that it's something that can be taught somewhere. What you can teach is more like this thinking, analytical thinking, psychology, all these things. But all the rest is you will figure it out. You will come to that state yourself, so that's why I do not remember actually like how it happened. It was probably our my other friend, CEO and founder of Picsart. He was teaching me and my other friend, co-founder of Picsart at university, and he was already entrepreneur. Did another two companies when he was teaching. So that's kind of we started, got excited, and then since that days we started to work together on all the new things. So I think it's more having this foundational things trained or learned, and then all the rest is more like looking around you, learning from different people and understanding what you need in reality and what drives you, and then just following it.
Super interesting. Okay, so you met your co-founders. Where was it? At university, and one of them
Yeah,
was your
American
teacher.
University of Armenia, yeah, in 2003,
Wow.
2002.
And then one of them was your teacher, and the other one
Yeah,
was your classmate.
yeah.
That's a crazy story. I've never heard anything like that. That's super interesting. And what's one of the biggest challenges that you found in your entrepreneurship journey?
Oh, there are so many challenges. So I mean, it's overall it's one big challenge, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So yeah, I think there are many challenges. Just the different phases of the company. They have different size and scale. So initially, it's just more like how to find the right product market fit, right? How to get this
Yes.
initial traction, then how to scale at some point, then how to keep scaling or stay competitive. So I think it's really hard to tell if there are any particular challenge, because at every phase of the company, those challenges are transformed into something new and different. And that's why it's also both exciting, but at the same time, it's very challenging.
What's more challenging in terms of the phases of the company? The beginning, the scaling up, or remaining competitive?
That's also a hard question, because all of them are complex by themselves. Of course, you won't get the last two phases if you are not
Fair enough. Yeah. You
out
don't do a
of the
good
first
beginning.
phase, right? So that's the big one of the big differences. That's why initially, of course, this first phase is super important and critical. But then, after you are done with the first phase, you basically pretty much done with it. Then the second phase is again complex because you have much more pressure than the first phase, because right, startup, everyone considers you small. It's like 50-50, right, in many cases, whether it will work or not. You believe it's more, but in reality, right,
Yeah.
it's not so straightforward. So that's why there is in terms of challenge, the first phase you have at least less pressure. The only pressure is coming from yourself. As you grow, then it becomes more and more pressure from, if you have investors, from investor, bond members, your employees. So then you are in a kind of different league, right? In football, right? In league
Yeah.
B, it's some other expectations. You graduate to League A, it's completely different expectations. Everyone waiting from you, completely different things, completely different way you need to play. So I think that's the biggest complexity, and because of that, you need to transform, to restructure, to get some people out, to get some people in. So that's the most challenging part, I believe.
Yeah, no, every time jumping from face to face, it's very complex. Actually, there's a lot of companies in the scale up phase that almost die from success. In fact, Nike almost dies from success. Did you ever have a moment in Picsart where this happened to you?
No, of course, it's really hard to anticipate everything, especially
Well, yeah.
external factors, which is completely out of your control, and especially nowadays, they are happening more and more often and in very
Yeah.
unpredictable format and way. So that's why what we always were trying to communicate to our core team and ourselves is that the key here is adaptability, how fast you are able to adapt, considering that many things is not under your control, so you can't control or manage them, but you can just adapt. And with that adaptability, you can keep growing or continue surviving or whatever you need to do. So that's why, yeah, we have many phases like that, like after investment, during COVID, post-COVID. So there were many phases where like we're trying to figure out, okay, what we should be doing. Like we never expected, right? And in a single day, all the employees should work from their homes, because the whole our culture was always
Yeah.
built on in-person office meetings, in-person relations, etc. So, but yeah, that's adaptability. I think what helped, and making sure that we adapt and act fast. I think that's the two things I believe. If they are there, then you can figure it out and react to it. If not, yeah, you can struggle, and at some point it will be unrevertible.
No, absolutely. There's all these like latest big companies like Netflix. They all talk a lot about adaptability and being able to be flexible to all those kind of changes, as in comparison to big companies who are established and who have been here around for 1,000 of years. And they actually have a very hard time when things like COVID come around because they don't know how to react and they don't know how to adapt to it. So I think it's great that you gave this advice to be adaptable.
Yeah, just the difference between a large companies and smaller, that it's a large ship and small boat, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to move it around quickly. If it's small, if it's large, it takes time. It's have inertia, so it's hard. But yeah, we have seen many examples, both from large enterprises, like Microsoft is a good
Yeah.
example, super large ship but turned around. And also scale ups and startups doing that. So that's the difference. Yeah, just how fast and what are your risks and how you evaluate risk and how fast you can make and turn around some of the things.
That's a great comparison, actually, with the ship. Well, thank you so much, Mikayel. It was like super insightful combo.
Thank you also for a great conversation.
And I just want to ask you one last question, which is who inspires you as an entrepreneur and why?
Oh, it's a hard question. Probably right now, I think it may be a bit controversial for many people, but Elon Musk. Yeah, because also, yeah, I know there are like some people have something about his personality, etc. But it's really, I can't imagine how you can do 5, 6 things and on that scale and break through the industries which no one can get into even closer, and do it pretty much all successfully at the same time.
Oh,
I
that's
think, yeah,
amazing.
that's really like inspiring, and it's kind of confirms that everything is doable and everything is possible. You just need to have the willingness and energy to do that.
No, he has three different companies in three different industries, and he has managed to be successful in each single one of them.
Yeah, even like this 5 or 6 right now is this brain company, this AI company, Tesla,
Yeah.
solar roofs, like Starlinks. So
No, crazy. Love it. Honestly, it's like super inspireful, and I totally get what you said about this would teach everyone that anything is possible. Basically, you just have to have the will for it.
yeah, exactly.
Love that. Well, let me move to the pitch doctor. So
Okay.
the pitch doctor is our section where we basically pitch you on a startup from one of our IE students. And we're gonna get your feedback. Would you invest? Would you use it? So let me go ahead. Today's concept is called Rent a Muse. So basically, it's an app that connects you with on-demand ideas partners. So writers, sculptors, or creatives. They're just this one tap away to help you with your next big thing. What do you think about it?
Okay, interesting idea. But the first question I will ask, why you can do it on other platforms? Or even right now, why you can't talk to ChatGPT if you have ideas and get opinion immediately?
No, absolutely. I mean, ChatGPT gives you good answers, and it's often good at giving feedback, but it's not the same as having someone who is from your same background and that shares that passion. And in terms of the apps, I would say, honestly, what I've done to contact people, not in design sectors, but everything has been very manually through LinkedIn or through WhatsApp and everything, and it's very time consuming. So this way, you just get connected right away.
Yes, maybe, but then I will question you that in many cases you want to hear feedback not from the same group of people or the people who have the same skill set or similar to you, because usually you do not build the product right for this
That's a good
particular
point.
group. So that's why even in product, right, when you're building, you try, or the content, you need diversity, because in that case you will really understand whether it work or not and what is the scale of it. If you are building super niche something, that's maybe helpful. But if you are not building super niche product which is targeted on very like niche persona, then I think more diversity and more feedback from different groups of people will be much more important than random people than just finding the people similar to you or with the same skills.
That's a good point. So these students have some changes to make.
Again, it may work. I do not say so many ideas which we believe didn't work, they worked eventually. But right now, I do believe this social networks or overall these network-related products have hard time because you can't have too many networks
Yeah.
on your phone. You usually are limited, and they're already big players who took most of your time. And for every new player getting in, they should be really like well thought and very niche and very something that's really unique to get your attention.
Absolutely. No, it was great feedback. Thank you so much for it.
Thank you for asking. Happy
Of
to help.
course. And thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Well, that's a wrap for today's Venture Ahead episode. Thank you for being here today. And remember, if you're a builder, a dreamer, or just curious about what it takes to be an entrepreneur, stick with us. More ideas, more insights, and more bold ideas coming to your way soon. Thank you.
Thank you.